Today we're gonna build a compact budget 1080p gaming PC which is not gonna break your bank but deliver great performance at 1080p and even at 1440p with FSR enabled. I was in the market for a case that supported micro ATX motherboards and full ATX power supplies, and I came across this BITFENIX PRODIGY M2022 ARGB case, which is going to be a great fit for our Asus Prime B550 M-A Wi-Fi 2 motherboard, and we are going to be pairing that with AMD Ryzen 5 5500, which comes with Rate Stealth cooler. And you might be wondering, why did I get a 750 watt power supply for this budget build? That's because I got it on a really good deal. For our system memory, we're going to be using DDR4 dual channel 32GB, rated at 3600 MHz CL18, and for the boot drive we're going to be using a Gen 3 NVMe, which is 512GB. And for our graphics card, we're going to be using the Gigabyte RX 6600, which has 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory. Now we'll get this build going by unboxing all these components and putting them together. I would not recommend building a brand new PC with older generation parts like I am using here, but I am only doing it because I have got these parts for really cheap on sale. If you're wondering why didn't I get a Ryzen 5 5600 with PCI Gen 4, that's because that processor costs 30% more, but it only delivers 5 to 10% more extra performance. And now if you're wondering why didn't I get a B450 motherboard to save a little bit more money, and that's because the cheapest B450 motherboard was only $20 less and it came with no Wi-Fi. So this motherboard was a no-brainer choice, as it was the second cheapest motherboard on sale. I was planning on getting a 1TB NVMe drive, but I got a 512 instead, and I used that money to get 32 gigs of RAM instead of 16GB, as I have a USB 3 game drive that I'll be using to store all my games on. Now we'll be unboxing the motherboard and the CPU, and we'll be installing the CPU on the motherboard as well as the RAM and the NVMe drive. Since the motherboard sits upside down in this PC case, make sure the I/O shield is also upside down. Before I drop the motherboard in, I'm just gonna make sure all the desired standoffs are in the right place, and I'll route these wires through this hole so they're not in the way once the motherboard is in. So I just learned something. You might want to install the power supply later on if you're installing a micro ATX motherboard in this case, as this case is really small because it's made for ITX motherboards, but they do let you install micro ATX as well, but the clearances are going to be really tight, as you saw. This is the first thing you'll see once you turn on the computer. All we gotta do is hit Alt-Control-Delete and restart it. Once we restart it, our computer should be able to detect our bootable USB drive. As you can see, it has detected our bootable drive, but it did not boot from it. So we're gonna hit F1, and if F1 doesn't work, hit Function F1 on your keyboard at the same time. And now we can change the boot priority. I'm not going to be enabling the D.O.C.P RAM profile and the ReSize bar just yet. We want to install Windows first, and then we'll come back and enable these two things. So we'll click on our bootable drive here. And after clicking on your bootable USB drive, go ahead and save and exit. It'll say that you haven't made any changes to the BIOS. That's fine. And here we go. It's starting to boot from our bootable USB drive. And now I'm gonna go ahead and install Windows 10. If you're not sure how to install Windows, there are a bunch of tutorials on YouTube which will guide you through. Once I am done installing Windows, I'll come back and enable the RAM D.O.C.P profile as well as the ReSize bar, which is known as AMD Smart Access Memory. I forgot to show this earlier, but yes, you can also control the fan speed from the remote. There we go. It takes a little bit for the fans to kick in. And I believe this is full speed. It can get pretty loud, but we're going to turn it down. So that is a really neat feature about this case. You can change the brightness for your RGB. You can change the auto mode. And you can have manual colors. And you can control your fan speed. And you can also turn off the lights if you wanted to. Really nice. We have successfully booted into Windows for the first time. And as you can see in the task manager, our RAM is running at 2666 megahertz. And we're going to be changing that right now. So let's go ahead and restart the computer. And on the boot screen, we're going to be tapping delete so we can get inside the BIOS. And once you're inside BIOS, it's very simple from here. All we're going to do is click on the D.O.C.P menu. And first of all, if you don't see this screen, you're probably not in the easy mode, you're probably in advanced mode. So go ahead and click on easy mode. And once you're in the easy mode, click right here and click on profile 1. And here we go. Our 3600 megahertz CL18 RAM is right there. We have selected the profile. Now it's going to be running at the right speed. And our next step is going to be turning the ReSize bar on. So click on that, click on, and it's as simple as that. Now hit on save and exit. And now hit OK. And now once we're back in Windows, we can confirm and double check if our ReSize bar is working or not. And now we can see that our RAM is running at its correct speed, 3600 megahertz. And now to check if your ReSize bar is working or not, there are two methods. First is going to be checking through your AMD Adrenalin control panel, or you can go ahead and download GPU-Z. You can double check that in our Adrenalin control panel. Just go over to Performance, click on Tuning. You can hit accept. We're not going to do anything in here, but I just want to show you. If you scroll down here, you can see that the AMD Smart Access Memory is enabled. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video so far, and if you have, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.